Hi there everybody, this is David and welcome to 5 things that I wish that I knew before I began Unicorn Overlord. I have had the great pleasure of playing this game for quite a bit of time now, and I want to just share with y'all some hints and tips that will make your experience hopefully a lot smoother than my first time around. And hey y'all, if you are new to the channel, please be sure that you subscribe for some more top 10s, news, and reviews, and then smash that like button also to show your love. And now, let's go ahead and spill some tea on these Unicorn Overlord strategies. Number 1. Choose your leaders wisely. Different characters have different leadership abilities, and you can see these in the lower left-hand corner of the menu screen, and these abilities will activate only whenever they lead the unit. Not all leader abilities are created equally though. Some are pretty crummy, while others are insanely useful. And it's not like your leader has to be in the front row, or powerful, or anything else like that. He could just be some back row mage, it really doesn't matter. Just look at their leadership abilities and then choose accordingly. The most obvious thing that you can do is to make your mounted characters the leaders of their unit, because that will increase their movement speed on the world map. But some other leadership abilities are not quite as obvious, such as your hero's ability. Whenever he leads a unit, he'll trigger the morale boost effect, increasing the amount of Valor that you earn through all of your battle actions. And Valor comes in really handy, not only for getting all of your units out of the home base, but also for those really powerful Valor abilities, which I now want to talk about. Because number 2 is, don't sleep on the Valor abilities. It's really easy to assume that Valor is only used to bring your troops out of the garrison, but nothing could be further from the truth. Here, it's almost like an MP system. You know how in some RPGs you gain MP every single round? Valor's kind of like the same thing as MP, because every time that you're successful in battle, you'll gain a little bit more Valor, which is signified in the upper left-hand corner. And each character has their own special Valor abilities that they're able to use outside of battle. Keep in mind, you cannot use these in combat or whenever you're up against an enemy. They are solely to be used on the world map whenever you're traveling around. Now, these abilities can do all sorts of different things, from healing to buffing or even raining down a hail of arrows on your enemies. They're all different, and knowing when and how to use them can mean the difference between life and death. Number 3. Check your items. Now, let's spend a moment to talk about items and equipment, because many times after you complete a battle, you're going to receive some special books which will raise a single character's experience, but don't forget about them and just leave them in your inventory rotting. Make sure to use them right away, because the lower the level that your character is, the more experience that they'll get from it. So it really does behoove you to use those items as soon as possible. Also, remember how in Dragon Quest you might use a stat seed and it would only raise your strength by 1 point, but then you could reset the game and use it again and it would raise your strength by 5? Stat gain items work the same way here, except that you get up to 5 uses out of them. What that actually means though is that you can only use a stat increasing item up to 5 times on one particular character. And finally, make sure that you pay attention to the weapons that you're buying. Many of them actually give you bonus experience points for having them equipped or new abilities in battle, really ensuring that your lower level units can catch up with the higher units as quickly as possible. Number 4. Don't ignore the Gambit system. One of the best parts of Final Fantasy XII is the really involved and intuitive Gambit system, and it is back with a vengeance here. And since battles do play out automatically, it can be kind of easy to forget about the Gambit system and just neglect it, but don't. There are some cool combinations that you can set up here, with some really easy tweaks that you can do just to make your life a whole lot better. The simplest thing that you could do though is to just take advantage of the weapon triangle system and have certain classes prioritize their attacks against the classes that are weak to them, like having the cavalry attack the infantry units or having the archers prioritize the flying units. But there's also many more advanced tactics that you can take advantage of too, like giving Rolf the flame bow, which causes targets to burn, and then having the wizard's passive fire burst skill activate hitting all the enemies whenever targets are burning. It's finding these little tiny hints and tricks and intricacies that will really turn the tables in your favor. And number 5, some final thoughts. Whenever you're putting your groups together, one thing that you really want to do keep in mind is long-term growth between your characters, insofar as their group synergy. That is, if you group friendly allies together and those with a history together, they're more likely to gain synergy with one another, which will lead to stat gains across the board over your entire unit, as well as sparking different conversations between your party members. Another thing that you want to keep in mind is that setting a guard in town is super useful, because you're going to receive tribute after every single battle, and they'll collect items in the town's vicinity for you, and whenever you have a character stationed at a town, they can still be used in battle. But the only caveat is that you need to complete all the delivery requests for the town to get it fully upgraded before you can then station that guard. So that's it for the 5 things that I wish that I knew before I began Unicorn Overlord. Now I want to ask, what hints and tricks would you like to share? Let me know in the comments, and I think that this would just be a great place to share all of our Unicorn Overlord best practices. And again, if you like what I'm doing here on the channel, please be sure to follow me over on Twitter and check out my Patreon for early access to my videos, as well as behind the scenes photographs. This has been David, and if you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.